Hi everybody, thanks for tuning back in. This next portion of my video will be something that I wrote in 2013, but it was a story of how I ran away and lost my innocence to a predator. It is called A Loss of Innocence. I was scared walking down that long road, even if I wasn't alone. I was still terrified of the dark at age 14. Evil existed in my world, and I believed in the boogeyman. He could be lurking anywhere in the dark forest that lined both sides of the road. Little did I know then, I was going to meet my very own boogeyman soon enough. But even with my fears, I talked two of my friends from the group home into running away with me. I had a knack for convincing other kids where I lived that running away would finally allow us to be free to do whatever we wanted. Truth be told, it was scary and tiresome trying to find a place to sleep and eat. Every noise in the woods terrified me. My heart would beat so hard I could hear it in my ears. Cars passed us and we would stick out our thumbs in our feeble attempts at hitchhiking. Of course, there was always the fear that one car would pick us up would contain the staff from the group home. But even that didn't stop us. Eventually, however, a couple stopped and picked us up. They asked where we were going and where we were from. They said they had heard of the group home we ran away from and stated that they picked up kids from there before. At that age, we didn't see the red flags in that. We were happy not to be walking any longer. The couple brought us to a trailer where a couple of them lived. We were offered marijuana and alcohol and a place to crash. We took them up on their offer. I was quite taken with the man that lived there. I believed his name was Tom. Tall, blonde, handsome, and quite a bit older. He was 21. Looking back on it now, I realize this man was a predator. However, at age 14, being a runaway and under the influence of drugs and alcohol, I was pretty fascinated by this man. Many of the evening's events have been forgotten by now, but when the partying reached its peak, my friend and I found ourselves in bed with Tom. I was a virgin, and I believe my friend was also. At age 14, I lost my virginity to a 21-year-old man. When he was done with me, he rolled over and proceeded to have sex with my friend. This back and forth session happened throughout the night. I remember cleaning the blood off me, wondering if I had started my menstrual cycle, or if it was just from my first time with a man. Growing up in the state system, I often learned things by trial and error. There were no examples of a home life for me to follow. The next day I remember thinking foolishly that now Tom was my boyfriend. Foolish thoughts of a very foolish 14-year-old. Instead of him being my Prince Charming, I found out that Tom had a fiancée. Also later that day we were discovered in the same trailer by the local police and returned to the group home that we had run away from only days before. I had his phone number though. I tried to call a few times after I got picked up. Tom never answered. And years later it dawned on me. I had lost my innocence to a predator. I consider myself very lucky that my story didn't end up any worse than it did. After that, I ended up in a drug rehab with a new Prince Charming in my sights.